Hey guys, welcome back to Pro Wrestling for Life. My name is AJ, and this is where we talk everything pro wrestling on my couch. No script, no big studio, just anything and everything that's happening in the world of pro wrestling. So today we're going to talk about the price of going to live events. Have you had to take out a second mortgage on your house just to go to something? It's getting to be that way. Ever since TKO took over, the prices have just skyrocketed to pretty much every live event. Raw and SmackDown are at the rates that PLEs used to be, and PLEs have gone astronomical in the last couple of years. I know because I've gone to SummerSlam the last 3 years, and I've been to, 3-4 weekly shows, Monday Night Raw and SmackDown in the last few years. I haven't been to any house shows in about 3 to 4 years, but I would imagine they're not that much better. So today we're going to talk about little tips and tricks and how you can kind of get the cost down a little bit. It's still higher than it's ever been, but any little discount helps, right? So these are what I do. These are techniques that I have. There's not one that is just do this and this is how you get it. You know, it's hitting it from different angles, and what works in one situation might not work in the other, and maybe you got to hit it from a few of these techniques to make sure that you get the good deal that you're looking for. So anyway, tip number one is check often. When I was looking for SummerSlam this year, I checked probably 5 to 10 times a day just to kind of see what was trending, if it was going up, is it going down. And it's kind of like watching a stock, and you want to catch it at its cheapest, lowest point. And if it starts trending up, maybe it's time to pull the trigger and buy those tickets. I looked all day, every day. I was getting 2 tickets, and the number of tickets does affect the deal you're going to get. Obviously, if you're a single, you can get much better deals than you can if you're 2, 3, 4 tickets that are needed. 3 is sometimes hard to get because they like to sell them in even numbers. The next tip is to check multiple sites. I tend to check Ticketmaster first. That usually gives me the best price, but not always. I tend to look at SeatGeek second, StubHub third, and then Game Time, and there's a few other ones. But it's just good to not have all your eggs in one basket and be able to check different things. So like I said, Ticketmaster is usually my go-to, but it's not always. Because Ticketmaster will give you the best price until they sell out. And then if they sell out, Ticketmaster isn't always the best for resale. I found that SeatGeek is a little bit better than StubHub, but those are just the events that I'm looking at. So that doesn't mean that it's always going to be like that. The next tip is to use the map view when you are trying to buy tickets. And the reason that I say this is sometimes if you just go up a row or two, the price can be significantly less than it is, a few rows forward. For example, if you're in section 201, say, and you want to sit right on the rail, which they're the best seats in that section. Don't get me wrong, those are the ones I always want. But if you're willing to sit in row 3 or 4 or 5, maybe, you might be able to save $50 to $100 per ticket. And some people it's really important to have that front row, and some people it's not. So you got to just decide what's most important to you. I found that in the lower bowl as well. Row 6 is oftentimes a lot cheaper than row 5. Row 11 is oftentimes a lot cheaper than row 10. Or pay attention to the sections. Sometimes if you're in section X here and then you check section Y here and it's only one section over, sometimes you'll get a much better price in that section that's just one section over. Sometimes it's only like an aisle over, and it can be $30, $40 cheaper than the one that you're previously looking at. So, that's one of the best tips that I have, actually, is to really do your research and see the different price levels, not just in the section, but in the row of the section too. You also want to look at aisle seats. Aisle seats are going to often cost you $10 to $20 more per ticket. So the first two seats next to the aisle on both sides are going to tend to be a little bit more. So back to checking often. A lot of times it depends on when you're checking. Usually right after tickets go on sale, the prices will be pretty high because they know that the people that want to buy them right away they're kind of the hardcore fans, and they want to go, and they don't care what it costs, no matter what it is. Well, not no matter what it is, within reason, but they tend to be really high in the beginning, and then they start to level out once TKO or Ticketmaster, whoever it is, figures out how much demand there is for that event. And once that happens, they'll slowly start to go down. I've found that the sweet spot is usually a month to 2 weeks out. That's just what I've found. That doesn't mean it's true for every event, but the ones that I've looked at, that's usually where I found the lowest prices, and they don't go much lower than that. If you're a single, I would probably wait till day of, because a lot of people are going to dump seats that maybe someone backed out. Maybe it's a ticket broker that just has an odd number of tickets. There's a lot of reasons, but if you aren't super particular about where you sit, then I would wait till day of if I was single. If you want 2 or more tickets, like I said, that month out to 2 weeks is usually the sweet spot that I've found. The other thing is to pay attention to the WWE storylines. So, for example, this year at SummerSlam, I was buying 2 tickets. I wanted to sit in the lower bowl, and I was in that $200 to $300 range. And so I was watching all the time, and I kind of knew where I wanted to sit, and I was a little hesitant to pull the trigger because I wanted to get the best deal. I don't have a ton of money, so I didn't want to overpay because we were already taking a road trip all the way to New Jersey. I live in Michigan, so we're going to need 2 nights of hotels, we're going to need 2 tickets, several meals, whatever else, merch, drinks, whatever you want at the stadium. And so it was going to be a pricey trip, so I didn't want to overpay on the tickets. And so what happened is, when they announced that Roman Reigns was going to wrestle on Saturday, when they announced the lineup, the tickets never went down again. They only went up. So I feel like if they didn't have Roman Reigns, the tickets might have still went down. So it all depends on what's happening too. So, I wish there was a little box that fit every situation, but there just isn't. If you're going to weekly shows, like say you're going to SmackDown or Monday Night Raw, sometimes it's better to drive a little farther and go to a smaller city. I noticed there's a Raw or SmackDown right after WrestlePalooza that's in a smaller city in Indiana, and prices for that are like $50 to $80 for decent seats. And if you're looking at bigger cities, you can't get in for less than $120. So sometimes it pays just to drive a little bit farther if you want to get a better deal. It all depends on where you're at, and if you have a car, if you can do it or not. But if you can, I would suggest that you do. And the last tip that I have is there are third-party apps that you can download onto your phone that can watch these websites, and they can monitor they can monitor ticket prices for you. So Distill.io, Event Spy, Pingo, and there's others. I mean, just kind of Google like event ticket price drop app or something like that, and they'll give you a whole list. So what you do is you just kind of give them the IP address and the threshold of what you want to pay and where you want to sit, and they can watch it for you. I personally haven't used these, so I don't know which one is the best one to use. I just kind of learned about these this week. I plan on using them and seeing how they do, but it's definitely something to check out, and I would highly suggest doing that. So let me know. Give me a comment if you use any of these apps. Let me know what works, what doesn't work, if you recommend them. And if you have any other tips, let me know, because this is certainly not an end-all be-all list. And if you made it this far, please like and subscribe. We are a new channel and it greatly helps us out. And thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. See ya.